Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe.
It's Black Wednesday. It's Black Wednesday. You know what I do, Skip Bayless? I show up on your field and beat you in your uniform. This is how I did it today. Blacks.
You know what they say about imitation?
What they say?
They say it's the sincerest form of flattery. So I am flattered that you are coming over to my side because more and more you are going without a tie.
Hey, guess-
Because the point of this show is you've never even achieved one tie on this show because all you do is lose.
Hey, after the show, you will be even flatter.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm about to steamroll you.
Okay.
I'm about to steamroll you next year. You know that's, I'm sorry.
That would be a first.
Showing this up.
Yeah, no,
Are we going with the little Miami Vice?
yeah, little tricky advice, what they call you, boy.
Why don't you just unbutton another button? Go ahead.
Autumn got upset. I tried to. She said, this is a family morning show.
Family show.
Yeah.
It's too early for that. Let's keep the button
But I like
right
the green jumpsuit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Both of you look nice. We got a lot to
No,
get
you
to
don't.
on today's show. Well, John Gruden and Antonio Brown work in Oakland. We'll talk about it. And Michael Rapaport is here later.
Here we
And
go.
trust me, he is ready to go off on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But first, we'll start with news from the Cowboys. Jerry Jones finally signed one of his star players to an extension yesterday. Unfortunately, it wasn't holdout Ezekiel Elliott. Dallas agreed to a 5-year extension with starting linebacker Jaylon Smith that's worth $64 million. It looks like Jerry may have foreshadowed this signing last Tuesday when he told reporters he may get a deal done with a player that he wasn't being asked about. Jerry made sure to point out this deal and others moving forward would be team-focused. Take a listen.
The team takes precedent over, and that is my judgment. The team takes precedent at a point over the opinion or the demand of the individual. The team takes precedent. This was a team move that we are talking about today, a real team move. If given the opportunity to help this team and decrease the pie some more, I'll do it tomorrow and the next day.
Okay, Shannon, what did this signing tell you?
Skip, this signing told me that, as Jerry mentioned last week, and we kind of had an indication of who he was talking about, Skip, I believe this deal has been in the work for a couple of weeks now. Just all of a sudden, just didn't pop up. But, Skip, I believe Jaylon Smith was the most eager to get a deal done, so this was the easiest of the deals to get done because he gave them a substantial hometown discount, and he talked about it in his press conference that Jerry was willing to roll the dice, take a chance when there's a chance. He was never going to play a football game again, and Jerry still tied up $4.5 million in him. So he felt that he needed to repay Jerry for his confidence, his belief in him that, you know what, son, you might not play again, but if you do, we want to help you get back because we believe, Skip, he's going to be a top 5 pick. He was special. And you see what was going on in his head, and this is why you saw a lot of guys started skipping the bowl game.
Yep.
They're like, man, I'm risking $20, $30 million out here for what?
Yeah.
For a jersey with a patch on it that says Orange Bowl or Fiesta Bowl?
Yep.
But for me, Skip, this deal is very team-friendly. He had one more year left on his deal, and they gave him an extension. He got good money. He got the security that he wanted. But this deal is really team-friendly, Skip, because he got, 34.5 guaranteed. So you prorate a lot of, you probably got $20 million at the time of signing. You prorate that out. But this is how this deal was easy to do because Jaylon was eager to do the deal. But the difference between Jaylon's deal and these other three, they're not going to be as team-friendly. Because the going rate is, Dak saw Aaron Rodgers get $79 million at the time of signing. He saw Russell Wilson get $70 million at the time of signing. I think Carson Wentz is somewhere around between 64 and 66. He sees this. That's the number. He's looking to get more than Jalen Ramsey total contract at the time of signing. Well, Amari Cooper said, well, the going rate, Odell got 41. That was 2 years ago. So that's what I'm looking at right there. Zeke says, hold on, bro. Yo, old Zeke Elliott. You got to eat, Skip. They say, Skip, he say he looking good, too. He's supposed to call me last night, but I had some arrangements I had to take care of, and I missed it. But anyway, as I was saying,
Did he try to call you?
No, I ain't telling you nothing.
You don't miss that call.
I ain't telling you nothing, Skip. I believe you in suspense. But Skip, where they getting all this money from? Where are they getting all this? They ain't got nobody.
They got oodles of money.
How they get oodles of money? Oh, you told me all the time, this is not like baseball and you can just spend, you have a cap. Okay, well, how you gonna get, Dak's gonna want 70 to 80 million guaranteed at the top when he signed. Zeke's gonna probably want somewhere between 35 and 40. Amari's gonna want somewhere between 35 and 55.
Yep, it's
Where they
there.
get other money?
It's there.
Where is that?
Pie got a little smaller, but just a little smaller.
Big Dak said, you know what? I'm glad the pie got smaller.
Yep.
Who want pie? I eat cake, and I want a big old chunk of cake. I don't want pie. I love it.
What are you laughing at?
I love it. Because Skip, I just tell you this here. Somebody's not going to get done this year. I don't know who it is. Amari can be patient because Amari's playing on that fifth-year option, which is about $14 million.
Sure.
Plus, he was a first-round draft pick. He good. Dak said, hold on, bro. This is my first year ever making $1 million plus in salary. I need some cake. And Zeke says, I play the most dangerous position in the NFL, which is running back, and I have the shortest shelf life. I need to eat.
This whole development continues to amuse me because the haters are hating, led by the number one hater across from me, because they think they got the Cowboys backed into a corner.
We do.
They think Jerry is up against the cap. And Jerry showed you once again yesterday, when it comes to money, Jerry's got genius. This was a brilliant first move. I didn't see this one coming. I was shocked. But this was just the first domino, and now the next three bigger dominoes, even bigger ones, will fall, fall, and fall. It will be Dak first, it will be Zeke right at the deadline for game one, and it will be Amari during the football season because, as you said, he is cool. He's getting 13.9 this year, and he's just fine. He's back in football heaven after escaping John Gruden hell from last year. So he will wait patiently. Somewhere during the season, he will get his big piece of this new pie because the pie is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, as you know. So the first domino was the most significant domino because Jerry did send a message to the other three even bigger dominoes. Hey, look what just happened here. I just took a team leader because Jaylon Smith is highly respected, maybe not Dak respected, but on the defense, he is, dare I say, I'm going to say he's the most respected. I know Sean Lee's the veteran, but I think Jaylon has preempted him as the leader of that defense just because he's a better player and he's healthier, obviously, than Sean is. And Jerry knows that Jaylon paid a big price to get to where he is because he had to work his tail off to get that knee back right to become a potential perennial Pro Bowl linebacker, right?
Yeah.
You saw it last year, all over the field, sideline to sideline. He is sudden. And there's an element of ego going on here because Jerry also wanted to say yesterday, look at me, look at us, look what we did. We took the plunge on this kid when nobody else would. We took him in the second round and we risked $4.5 million on virtually nothing. And look what came out of it for us. And I'm going to pay him back for what he did for us. And yet, what is the message? You hit it. This is shockingly team friendly. I was stunned by it because, again, the base going into next year is a grand total of $835,000. So Jaylon was cool, like, give me my long term at the expense of my short term. So he didn't push for short term. And the average new money in this deal per year is only $12.75 million. That makes him fifth among linebackers right now. So watch
in 2 years.
Hey, how about in 1 year? Maybe at the end of this football season, you will be sitting over there saying, what was Jaylon Smith thinking? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, he did get a big chunk of guaranteed, and he got a big chunk up front, but it will be pro-rated. So it is ultimately team-friendly, and I think only a small sliver of pie got taken out of the bigger pie.
Because let's just say, for the sake of argument, Skip, he's got $35 million guaranteed. They write him a check for $20 million. Well, you prorate that over the life of the contract. So you got basically 6 years. So he's like 3.5. So his cap number next year probably going to be like $4 million, a little over $4 million, which is nothing. That was the thing. And that's what he was willing to do, Skip, because he looked at it like, I've been down this road before where I had an injury and I didn't know if I was going to play again. Let me take this now, so if something unforeseen do happen, I'm protected on the back end. But he gave up a lot of real estate, Skip. He
did.
boxed himself into a corner. In 2 years from that, Skip, maybe not next year, but 2 years from now, he's gonna look back like, what the hell was I thinking?
Okay.
Because if he's what you now, he happens to be in the NFC. Now the two best middle linebackers in the NFL are in the NFC, Kuechly and Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
So, but he's coming. He's younger than both of them. And he's going to look back, Skip, and you know this is going to happen. He's going to look back and like, Jerry, I need to see y'all again, bro.
Jerry just took somebody to the cleaners.
Oh,
right?
you like he did.
What do I keep telling you about Jerry Jones? Again, on football decision-making, on GM moves, not the biggest fan, but when it comes to salary cap, when it comes to negotiating, when it comes to the psychological warfare of winning negotiations, this is Jerry's Super Bowl, and he just won the first quarter of the Super Bowl.
This was very Patriots-esque. This is what they do. They remember they got Gronk on that deal? They're like, look at the money they gave Gronk. And then 2 years, you're like, man, Gronk making peanuts. Look. But like I said, when you get two sides that are motivated, when Jaylon Smith is motivated to get a deal done, the Cowboys are motivated to do a deal, you can come together fairly quickly. Now, on the other side, Skip, it seems like Jerry is more motivated than these guys for the simple fact they're not willing to give him the hometown discount, because Jaylon sat on the field in his last game of college, and he didn't know if he was going to play again. Dak like, I ain't missed a game. Zeke's like, I hadn't missed a game due to injury, and Amari says, I've only missed 3 games. Yeah. So I don't have the worries that I'm going to be hurt long-term that's going to greatly decrease my value of getting a long-term deal that's more individual-friendly as opposed to team-friendly.
That is correct. So, the Jerry Jones I know so well, I can tell you yesterday he was in a foul and angry mood. And he was most angry at the shot that Rocky Arsenault, Zeke's agent, took back at him about how disrespectful his Zeke comment was. And we will discuss that in just a few minutes.
We will.
But that's what set him off. And he continued to be foul and angry in all of his responses to the media post announcing the Jaylon Smith, as Stephen, his son, called it, a happy moment. Yeah. And he said, now we need a happy moment for Dak and a happy moment for Zeke and a happy moment for Amari.
Right.
But Jerry was in full-on bad cop mode yesterday while son Stephen was playing good cop. Son Stephen said only very positive things about, we obviously have a feel for how this is going to play out, and we are very optimistic we will get all 3 of the other deals done in short order. He just went on and on. He said, we want them to be Cowboys. They want to be Cowboys. We will get them done. He said, obviously, the pie's a little smaller, but Jerry said the pie got a lot smaller. Yeah. And Jerry, you saw what he said. He was angry about the team takes precedent at a point and over the opinion or the demand of the individual. Yeah. So he's saying, look what Jaylon did. Yeah, Jaylon. He sacrificed for the team because he's a team leader. Now it's up to the bigger pieces of the pie to take a little bit of a Cowboy discount. That's what he's saying.
This is how I look at it, Skip. Let's just say we're going to have a Halloween party. And the costume that I want, it doesn't work for me in my budget. Okay. So guess what? I ain't going. So the individuals will say, "No, I'm not going. If I can't be the cop, if I want to be a cop, but the uniform costume, I want to be a cop. No, I want to be a fireman.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, let me pick another.
Be a fireman.
Yeah, be a fireman.
Yeah, thank you.
But the uniform costume, but I'm not going. Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, and Amari Cooper said, if I can't get the money I want, I'm not doing the deal, Jerry. And you can grit your teeth and be bad cop all you want to.
Okay, but you can take or leave the Halloween party. They cannot take or leave being a Dallas Cowboy this year.
Yeah, they can.
Nope.
And this is what I used to tell guys when they come in, like, I don't know what's going on. I said, you know these other teams pay money too. They got money too. They got money. So don't let Jerry Jones fool you to think he's the only owner in the NFL that pays his players. Other teams paid their players also, Skip Bayless, and we're not giving you a hometown discount. That's what he's upset about.
Do the New England Patriots pay their players?
Yeah.
Help me out.
Hold on, whoa.
I don't know. I know one who got paid, but that's one.
Yeah, exactly.
He plays cornerback.
Well, they paid Richard Seymour, and then they got mad at Seymour and they ended up shipping him to Oakland.
Okay.
But, Skip, you can't get mad at me if I don't want to give you a discount. Why are you upset? Why you upset, Skip? I want my money. Let me ask you a question, Skip. What sponsor does Jerry Jones give a discount to?
True. It's a good.
None.
That's a good example.
But he won't.
I don't know about that. I think there are a lot of hometown businesses who again, would pay more to have more exposure in Dallas.
There's a reason why Jerry does deals outside of the NFL.
Yeah.
Because Jerry's going to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
That's why he left StubHub to go to SeatGeek. That's why he left Pepsi to do Coke, left Coke to do Pepsi. That's why he does all his independent deals, because he don't believe in cutting deals. But the very man that won't cut a deal wants you to cut him one. I wish I might. Dak Prescott, I'm gonna be very upset with you if you give him a deal. Zeke Elliott, if you hold out all this time and give him a deal, I'm gonna be very disappointed. And Amari, don't you give him no deals. Now.
You're just rooting against the Cowboys.
I'm not
you
rooting.
need somebody to hold out for the whole year. You need somebody to say, I'm taking my football and going home.
No, I do not want any player to miss out on money, because you'll never get an opportunity to recoup the money that you lost. But I also want players to be compensated fairly. Now, Skip Bayless, if all of that contract was guaranteed that Jerry Jones can't get out after these contracts after a year or two, I got no problem with it. But because he can get out of it, no, I don't like that.
Okay.
I want all
That's
my
not
money.
his fault. That's your fault.
You
accepted the deal to start with.
It's the CBA.
Okay?
It is the play.
All right.
But see, that's the thing, though. See, Skip. See, the banks are going to be more forgiving. If Jerry says, you know what, I'm not going to be able to pay this $20 million loan this month. I need an extension. See, the mortgage company's not going to be doing that to players. No, we need that. So the play is hard for a player to hold out, because guess what? They're going to get their money from these networks before they even show a game. But preseason, regular season, Fox and CBS and NBC and ESPN going to take the money. And then you got a Microsoft that does the tablets. You got Bowles that does. They get them checks regardless. See, NFL told me I don't even get paid till I do a game, Jenny.
So Jerry dug in yesterday. Jerry got, so to speak, his backup. And to finish, the quote from Jerry, he said, the team takes precedent and I've got the backbone to keep it that way. That's strong from him.
Yeah.
He is digging in against the big three.
Yeah, the big three.
saying
That's a good
it's
thing.
got to be team first.
It is team.
Right?
Team Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Who's on his team? His family. Team Amari Cooper. Who's on his team? His family. And Team Zeke Elliott. Who's on his team?
I'm here to tell you, Jerry is simply negotiating. This is extreme psychological warfare from a Jerry Jones who is a master of negotiations, not a master of building a football team. I got issues. We know all the issues. But when it comes to cap management and winning the art of the deal, as somebody once said, this guy knows how. This guy is the master.
Jerry went belly up if he just lived by those.
Okay, so the point is that I'm going to ask you the key question here. What does Jerry Jones want most in the world right now?
A Super Bowl.
Especially this right now.
Year.
Maybe this year, maybe next year. This window right here, right?
Yeah.
So are you telling me that he would sacrifice a shot at this year's Super Bowl by not getting one of these deals done?
Whatever he says,
Are you telling me that the truth is that when push comes to shove, that he will keep his back up? He's got the backbone to keep Zeke at home in Cabo, wherever he's going to be for the whole football season? Because the truth is that will not happen. This is all just part of the deal that is getting done right now.
Well, Skip, I don't want to be in Cabo. I really don't. I mean, it's really boring. There's nothing going on. I mean,
Well,
there's only so much vacation time. I mean, that's why I don't go on vacation.
How long can you work out during a day? You know,
Yeah,
like
at some
seriously.
point.
And I believe he does work out, and I believe he does look great. I believe all that.
He looks good.
But you can't stay in the gym. Like, I live in the gym, but I can't stay in the gym for 8 hours a day.
Exactly.
You go to the gym a lot, but you can't stay for 8 hours.
Sure can.
What else is there to do in Cabo? I don't know.
There's nothing in going on vacation. I believe that going on vacation is so overrated. People say, well, Shannon, why don't you go on vacation? Because I don't feel there's a place I need to go. I need to get away from something.
Uh-huh.
I'm perfectly content.
Well, that's
where I
deep.
am. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. That's how I look at it, Skip Bayless.
Okay.
But I'm going somewhere next year. Yes.
You're already planning?
I'm already planning it.
Well, you got a long
Where
wait.
you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Hey, don't tell it. Hey, don't tell it. I'm going somewhere. Nobody go find me. Maybe the
Really?
Maldives.
You going with somebody?
I'm
or-
going. See, there you go. See, there you go. Try snitching again.
No one's gonna find
Yeah, nobody go find me. I mean, you don't know.
Really?
Might go to the Maldives or someplace.
Maldives?
Yeah, the Maldives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to go. You know,
One of those houses
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
right.
water?
You saw that? You know.
I would like to go as well. But,
Really?
It's beautiful. It's this secluded house above the water.
Really? I just want to go to Miami in February.
No. Well, we
How about
going.
that?
Where
I don't
in
mind going
Peru?
to Miami. I don't mind going to Miami in February.
You want to go, Jim?
And
You
long-
can
love
come.
to
You
go.
can come
And-
too.
no.
I'll take both of you.
As long as you know
Yeah.
who doesn't get to go.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, you'll be
Skip,
right in
man,
the thick of it.
Man, Skip,
All this will be distant memory.
can I do, and look, if the Cowboys made the Super Bowl, can I do mine via remote?
Nope.
Skip, I can't. Skip,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can
be
do
that.
it from the, what are they called? The
The Maldives.
Maldives.
Feel free. We'll see if we
That
can
is
set that
joking.
up for
Man,
you.
Skip, you gonna be see, the thing is with you will be unbearable. You are a very sore winner. Man, the Cowboys have just like won nothing in a quarter century, and you pound the table when they win a game. They get to the Super Bowl, you gonna be no. I just can't. I can't.
I got a feeling.
No. Some
This
people.
is perfectly lined up.
You know, you're one of those people. You're one of these people, Skip, that you're like, when good things happen, you just hate to see them come around, because all they do is just get you. Oh man, I can't with you. I just can't.
Better get ready.
Okay.
Or you could take a long vacation if you want.
We'll see. We'll see when's up there. Guys, the Raiders may have a bit to go before they're thinking about the Super Bowl.
I don't
Right
know.
now, is the John Gruden Antonio Brown relationship destined to fail already before it's really started? We'll go there next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
Rothy's are the everyday flats for life on the go. They're stylish, comfortable, and go with everything from yoga pants to dresses and skirts. They've quickly become a most loved, gotta have them brand thanks to their wide range of colors and patterns, with new ones launching constantly, and there's zero break-in period. Since Rothy's are crafted using 3D knitting techniques and hand assembly, their seamless design means a right out of the box comfort. Best of all, they're made from recycled plastic water bottles. That's right, over 25 million water bottles have been diverted from landfills to make these gorgeous and sustainable shoes. Another major bonus, they're fully machine washable, so your pair will be fresh and ready every laundry day. Plus, Rothy's always comes with free shipping and free returns and exchanges. There's no risk and no reason not to try. You'll quickly discover why BuzzFeed called them their forever shoes. Check out all the amazing styles available right now at rothys.com/cadence. Comfort, style, and sustainability, these are the shoes you've been waiting for. Head to rothys.com, that's ROTHYS.com/cadence today.
No mercy.
So Antonio Brown showed up to Raiders practice yesterday for the second straight day. AB reportedly was wearing a new league-approved helmet during the closed portion of practice, but did not have one during the media portion of practice. His second grievance hearing against the NFL to continue to wear his old helmet is scheduled for Friday. Hard Knocks cameras caught John Gruden having a heart-to-heart with Brown after the team's walkthrough this past Saturday. Take a listen.
I know you got a lot of people in your ear because you're like a corporation that's kind of gone global. Yeah. But at the end of the day, let's keep this simple. Yep. You know what I mean? Football comes first.
Absolutely.
Everything else way behind it.
You
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Let's because you handle all that seamlessly, beautiful. Huh?
Seamlessly. I like that one.
So, Skip, what is your biggest takeaway from last night's episode of Hard Knocks?
I'm going to go small picture before I go big picture. I'm going to focus on what we just saw because it caught my eye. This was John Gruden trying to pull AB aside as they left that practice, the walk-through practice field, trying to play big brother, sort of father figure and say, hey, quit listening to your agent, quit listening to family and friends. Just listen to me, because all that matters right now is what I say, because I want you to put me first, as in football first,
right,
and simplify the global corporation that you have become, because right now it's about football.
Yes.
And for the most part last night during Hard Knocks, which is obviously taped before yesterday,
Right.
we saw more good cop from John when it came to AB. He was trying to soft sell all of it. It's not a big deal. What's the big deal? It's not a big story. We knew about the cryotherapy going way back to the mini camps and blah, blah, blah. Like he said, we got this all under control. And then it ended with that exchange, which told me he's pretty troubled by this, but he's clinging to Antonio. He needs Antonio desperately, and he loves one thing about Antonio. He says 84 will lead this league in energy. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Because when AB commits to being out there
Right.
with the proper helmet on, and by the way, it was also significant, Antonio indicated on the field before the Arizona game, it's not about how the new helmet feels. It's the way it looks. It looks.
It's aesthetic,
Because it's
yeah.
an ugly blah, 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 you know.
I guess he thinks it makes him look like Marvin the Martian.
That was
you know,
so
Marvin
bad.
had that
It
big
does. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I'm sure that's about how he pictures it in his head.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not about the actual feel of it or
Right.
it's too bulky or whatever.
Right.
It's just the look. Well, Gruden will not love that. So, big picture. Predictably, this Hard Knocks has turned into the JGAB show. John Gruden, then AB, in that order. John Gruden is proving to me to have an even bigger ego than his new superstar has. John Gruden, to me,
But you knew that.
I didn't know it'd be quite this big. I think TV helped make it bigger, the Monday night stage,
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
Because remember, I covered John's
Yes.
last team in Oakland the first time around. I covered the 2001 Oakland Raiders. So I saw him in action. I saw him clash repeatedly post-practice with Al Davis, who was his mentor and the great Al Davis. You know, again, I was close with Al, but he went at Al hard after practice over this issue and that issue and how he was coaching the team or not coaching the team. But the point is that this guy's ego is running amok, because in all my years of watching all the Hard Knocks dating back to your first one, what year was that?
2001.
2001. I have never seen a player or a coach, including Shannon Sharpe, play to the camera the way Gruden is playing to the camera.
Oh, for sure.
It's almost becoming caricature. And it was amusing to me that he brought in Frank Caliendo, who I know from having him on shows before, and he does a great Gruden, and so he let him do a Gruden, but it was almost painfully funny to watch, because Frank's having a hard time outdoing the real Gruden.
Exactly.
You can't go too over the top, because Gruden has gone completely over the top.
You're right.
And I don't know why. He's gained a lot of weight, which may mean he's under a lot of pressure to try to live up to $10 million a year for 10 years.
I was wondering about that.
He's gained
I
way
noticed
more.
that too.
Because he didn't carry that much weight the first time around as a coach. He wasn't like that. So whatever. But the point is that in the biggest picture, he wants to be the star of the Oakland Raiders. He doesn't want 84 to be the star. 84 should listen to what John says. And to me, that's collision course for an epic clash.
Yep.
That is the essence of why I don't think this will work long term, because I'm not sure. You know, I've been a Gruden fan before because I like him personally. But will this work in this day and age when players become so big via social media? Their brands have grown to regions that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And the coaches' brands don't grow in this day and age, right?
No, look, as great as Bill Belichick is not known in Europe and overseas in Asia and all that stuff.
No.
Like Odell, like these players are. Yes,
and
exactly.
And most players don't try to dominate social media. Do any? I know Wade Phillips is on it. Who else? Anybody else do it? There's nobody who's on. No coach is on social media.
Right.
But John Gruden is dominating Hard Knocks because that's who he has become. So can AB fit his ego underneath the Gruden umbrella ego? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you, Skip. I think this is a collision course. I think they're bound to collide, intersect at some point, and it's not going to be pretty. You know, Gruden should have said, team football first. Because
Okay.
AB could say, I am putting football first. It's just AB's football that I'm putting first.
That's true.
Skip, this is how AB gets him. You heard it, Skip? He's like, Coach, I appreciate you standing by me, Coach, because everybody coming for me. Ain't nobody coming for you. You acting like a fool. First of all, you went to the crowd
You said
chamber.
he was enemy of the state? I feel like enemy of, no. Nobody's, no.
Well, first of all, if you've never been in a crowd chamber, you probably should know what you're getting yourself into. You don't go in there barefooted. You put on socks, you put on the Ugg boots.
Was it his first time? Like, how do you make that
I
mistake?
don't know, but you don't get blitzed. That's the only way. And then Skip, the helmet. Now, I was told that it was always about aesthetics. It was never about the comfort of the feel of the helmet. I was also told that one of the company heads offered to come to Oakland as prearranged through the NFL and do a 3D scan for AB and get his proper measurements fit. They're not going to send him to Dick's and go get a helmet off the rack.
Okay.
They're going to say, we're going to give you the best of the best. He's like, nah, I don't want that.
Wow.
Because my helmet looks better, and I look better. And if I look good, I play good. That's why you always see him with his shoulder pads up so you can see the back booming.
That is true. You can see booming.
So this is what this is
Which
about.
is what catchphrase
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Look, and so I think Gruden, first of all, I think this was heavily edited. Because, you know,
The
team,
language wasn't, but
No, the team gets, because they couldn't edit Mike's Mayock because he said that publicly and it was already out there, so they had to put that in there, Skip.
Yeah.
Skip, you know John Gruden. I know John Gruden. My brother played for John Gruden.
He did.
John Gruden is seething because he said, man, we gave you all this money and you up here shucking and jiving about a helmet when you already knew you had a year to prepare for this. Coaches get very upset, especially if you do something, because I think he said this was his first time doing cryo and he was overseas. Coaches get upset like, well, why are you doing this now? If you've never done this before and you've had success, so why are you doing it now? And then you put yourself at risk. You put this team at risk. Skip, this is gonna be bad. The same thing's gonna happen, because guess what? And people are like, well, because after 2 years they can get out of this for $335,000 after the 2020 season. Odell, the Giant, took a $16 million dead cap hit. The Steelers took a $21 million dead cap hit.
They did.
What that tells me, no matter how great you are, if you give them enough headache, they will move on from your butt. So I think AB will be $15 million. It's hard for me to believe that they wouldn't move on from $15 million if the Steelers were willing to move on from 21 and the Giants were willing to move on from 16. They're going to look to AB going to butt heads. Because it's always going to be something with him, Skip. He's going to find something else. No one came from, people were willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But then this guy came out and you get an opportunity. I can tell you firsthand, all that was just for show. John Gruden is mad as hell
I agree.
at this, as what's transpired with AB.
Yeah.
Now, he can say this.
So when you say heavily edited, you mean a lot's been cut out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the team gets, they show it to the
They
team.
do. No,
and this cut this how you can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
if he had some off-camera, so to speak, rant, no, we don't want that in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because I gotta make AB think that I'm in his corner.
Yeah.
And always positive. But Skip, at some point in time, guess what? These games gonna matter. They go in the win-loss column, and it goes toward whether or not you're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna see.
Can't edit losses, right?
Nah, you can't edit those.
So when last night's episode ended, my wife Ernestine turned to me and said, has Gruden always been that snotty? And I like that word snotty, because he does come across as just flat out snotty.
Yeah, he has.
And I said, that's a good question, because when I covered him, now it was a long time, 2001, what was that, 18 years ago, I don't remember him being that snotty, as in dismissive, sarcastic, hypercritical.
But what happened? What happened in 02 that changed his life forever?
He won one. Now, he did win one with Tony Dungy's guys.
Yeah.
Right? But he won it.
He won it.
Yeah.
We can't take that away
And he
from
did
him.
get to take advantage of his former team in the Super Bowl,
Yes.
and they were calling out plays before they were run, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Rich Gannon, his former quarterback, threw a whole bunch of balls to the box, right?
He did.
And they got returned for touchdowns.
Yes.
And it was a complete and utter wipeout.
It was a demolition.
Yes, it was.
But Skip, he's animated, but after winning the Super Bowl, he became even more animated.
Yeah.
He had a little jerk in him before.
He did.
But he became an even bigger one. That's why he felt he could talk to Keyshawn the way he did once he won that Super Bowl. And I'm not going to, you know, hey, I wish him all the best. But I can tell he and AB, they're going to butt heads at some point in time this year. A collision course, hey, this is two meteors headed in the same direction.
Yeah, they are.
And they're not crossing.
I'm
They're
with
intersecting.
you. I do not believe it will last, and I believe John Gruden will pay a price for letting his ego run completely amok. And I'm being objective when I say that because I still like him personally, but I'm being straight from the heart with you. I don't like where this is heading. And again, Hard Knocks can do a lot of damage to a football team because it can bring out what you're saying about what alcohol will do.
Yeah.
It's almost like the version of alcohol
Right.
where it's going to bring out the worst in you, right?
Yes.
And I think it's bringing out the worst. That's him right there, that picture. That's what he's constantly doing. He's constantly screaming, and it's profanely screaming, where he's just all over somebody with F-bombs and this bomb.
Calm down.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, if you got to do all that, if a head coach must do all of that screaming, he needs to hire better assistant coaches because they're not getting his message to the players. There's no way a coach should be doing all that screaming. I'm sorry. For professionals, I can see if it's Little League, you're trying to get the guys that they can't like. Come on now. You're at the highest of the high.
What do they talk about? Absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Absolutely.
Well, that's what he's got, absolute power now.
Yeah. And he might have as much power as Mark Davis.
Yeah. Seriously. Maybe more. Well, he's got the final say.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is interesting. I love it. I just wish we'd have more episodes and more insight. I
told you, I
seeing
wish
it.
we could just keep on each week.
The whole season.
But we need it unedited.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to do our best to get it done that way.
You own that unedited.
You know who else I'd like to see a Hard Knocks on?
Yeah.
The Cowboys, because they've got so much drama going
Nah,
on.
Jerry gonna try to steal the show.
No mercy.
We got to talk
You
more about Zeke. According to his agent, Ezekiel Elliott felt that he was disrespected by Jerry Jones. Zeke didn't take kindly to Jerry jokingly saying, "Zeke who?" when asked about the running back following the Cowboys' second preseason game. Yesterday, Jerry didn't back down when responding to Zeke's reaction. Take a listen.
I've earned the right with Zeke to joke. Period.
Right.
I've earned it.
So, have you guys had any conversations since then at all?
No. But let me be real clear about it. I've earned that right to joke.
So, Shannon, do you agree that Jerry has earned the right to joke with Zeke?
No, how's he earned that right, Skip? And stick with me for just a second, Skip. This rubbed me the wrong way, and maybe it has something to do with my upbringing and where I came from, the part of the country that I came from. Now, I was born in 1968, so the late 60s, 70s, and early 80s. I know what it was like to be in rural South Georgia. This seemed what he's saying. I pay Zeke. I stood beside Zeke. This seemed very sharecropper-ish to me because I've been in situations and seen with my very eyes that someone that has helped you get a house or get a car because you couldn't go to work that day, well, I'm going to need you to throw me the keys to the truck just to make sure you can't go anywhere. Come on. For real? Jerry, he provides a service. It sounded like Donald Sterling. Skip, remember Donald Sterling said, I'll give them clothes, I give them houses, I give them cars. But he didn't realize they provide a service. Jerry Jones, if Zeke was not on your football team, would you have been so devout in your support of Zeke? Hell no. He's making it seem like he's going out of his way. No. And even if you've done that. Yes, you pay Zeke a salary. Yes, you stood beside Zeke, but you don't own Zeke. And the man said he didn't feel that it was appropriate. See, you got, and like I said, Skip, when you joke, I joke a lot so I can take a joke. I understand how that goes. But if Zeke were to come back, it's like, well, man, Jerry's had more work than my automobile. You think that's funny, Jerry? Of course not. And the thing where you Skip, look at what he said. I've earned it. He's done two things for Zeke. Paid him a salary that Zeke has earned, and he stood beside Zeke. That gives me the right to be able to say what I want to say. Maybe it's just me. Zeke said he was offended by that comment. Instead of Jerry doubling down and trying to say, I've earned that right. apologize, call Zeke. You don't have to do it publicly. Call Zeke, say, Zeke, that's not what I meant. Do I believe Jerry was joking, Skip? I said I believed he was joking. Yeah. But I also said I understand how the player's going to take it. They don't take that because they take what they do very seriously. And you marginalize them and say, oh, I'm like that? Nah. So maybe it's just me. Maybe some people didn't see it like I saw it. But that's the way I saw it, and that's the way I took it. And I would have had a problem with it.
Okay. You have earned the right to have that suspicion you just voiced. So I get it from your side. I don't see it, but I get it. Mm-hmm. And you're right to have that little alarm bell go off in the back of your psyche saying, let's think about this for a second. In my time covering Jerry's Cowboys, and I haven't been around them for quite a while, but in my years covering them, I did not ever hear any of the black players voice any suspicion of any sort of racist tendency on the part of Jerry Jones. So, again, there's been nothing blatant or obvious to this. Mm-hmm. I have been around Jerry a lot because I wrote 3 books that heavily involved Jerry. So I spent hundreds of hours around him, and I have seen Jerry angry. Mm-hmm. That was pure fire anger from Jerry Jones. He was running hot yesterday. And I'm pretty sure it's because Rocky Arsenault said, we found that comment disrespectful. Mm-hmm. I think that's what pushed Jerry's deepest hot button. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to interpret it completely differently from you because I believe Jerry was saying, after all I've done for that kid, all the hours I've been with that kid and invested in that kid, in part because he's a very valuable football player, but also in part because I think Jerry really likes the young man.
Right.
But he's saying, after all I did, all the battles I helped him fight, all the times I tried to get him out of trouble, this is how you repay me. So he's saying, I earned the right just because I'm so close with him, because we've been through so much together, to kid with him. Mm-hmm. That's all he's saying is, I earned the right off the field, not through what I paid him, for what I did for him, to be able to joke publicly, via the media with him.
Right.
Now, I thought it was half joking because I think he was swept up in what he'd just seen from Tony Pollard.
Right.
But that's a whole nother issue.
Correct.
But remember, there have been so many incidents, some reported and some not reported, that Jerry helped get him out of, to the point of helping cover up.
Yeah.
Hundreds of hours invested in that. And what do you always say? He's got to sleep with the cell phone under his pillow with the ringer on because he wants to hear it ringing through his pillow. I got to get up at 3 a.m. again.
Yes.
Jerry might have just gotten to bed, but he's got to get up again and go try to put out another fire for Ezekiel Elliott.
And a lot of that off-duty stuff that Jerry be paying, that doesn't go on the payroll.
No, it doesn't.
The cap, that's not a cap
dollars. That's a good point. Obviously, he fought and fought and fought to keep him eligible to avoid the suspension that finally got dropped on Zeke for 6 games back in 2017.
Correct.
And you remember what was reported, that at the end of a league meeting, that Jerry went up to Lisa Friel, who's the director of investigations, remember, a longtime DA in Manhattan handling the sex crimes unit. So she was a very powerful figure. And remember, Jerry went up and got into a reported screaming match with her over Zeke, saying, there's nothing there, there's nothing there. So Jerry feels like he put his owner's reputation on the line with a prominent member of the National Football League front office by saying, no, you've missed the boat here. There's nothing there.
He also pulled her aside and said, you're going to kill this golden goose.
Okay, that's a whole nother thing. Yep. Okay. And again, this is the golden goose for everybody, right? So the point is, that's what he's saying to me is, I fought so hard for you and we got so close. In that other documentary we saw, that, what is it, All or Nothing one that's on Amazon, I believe, you saw Zeke come back and have a tearful reunion with Jerry after the 6-game suspension. They hugged and kissed, sort of, so to speak, figuratively.
Sure.
And so he feels like they have a closeness that means, like you said, you kid with people you're close to, and they can kid back. You let me kid back with you, and it's just the way it is. So he took it personally, that they took it personally, right?
Right.
Okay, so now I'm back to my biggest takeaway from this. I still believe that Jerry is at his negotiating weakest if you play buddy with him. Don't challenge him. Don't let him get his backbone up. That Zeke's strategy was completely upside down. Rocky Arsenault, wrong game plan. Zeke should have been in camp day one and buddied up to Jerry, and I believe he would have gotten his money and gotten more money sooner than later playing that way. Jerry, if you go to play to Jerry's good cop side, it will happen faster.
Right.
If you want to play hardball, he will play hardball back, and that's what's going on here. He's just he's saying, if you want to make it hard, let's just make it hard then.
Right.
And he's got a temper to a fault. And it's not a pretty sight, but I have seen it in action, and I think he was not really thinking all that rationally when he made that comment because it was spoken out of pure
Right. And I think the thing is, Skip, when you do something for someone, you don't do it with this, like, okay, now he's indebted to me, he owes me. I thought you did it out of the kindness of your heart. Now, if you come back and say that because like I said, he's earned the right, it seems to, but that's just because, Skip, like you said, you heard the way he said, I've earned it.
And he was pointed, and
yes.
then he repeated it.
Yes, yes.
times.
And just in case someone didn't hear it, he turned to his left,
I
turned to his right.
have earned the right.
Right. So it just comes off, like I said, it's 2019 now, and Zeke probably didn't, Zeke just took it as you being very dismissive after all that I've done, and I'm not going to let you just try and pit me against Tony Pollard. Look, I understand we're going to be teammates, and actually he can help my career because he can take some of the carries away, and I can maybe get an extra year. But, Skip, this here, man, like I said, it just rubbed me the wrong way because I didn't feel Jerry.
You know what? You could be right about that. That could be coming from that mindset.
Yeah.
I defer to you on that.
Yeah, I just wish Jerry would just, sometimes, Skip, instead of doubling down, Skip, we know, Jerry, when you were $7 billion, we know who you are, we know what you represent. You don't have to double down. No one's going to think any less of you if you said, I'm sorry that Zeke took it that way. That's not what I meant by, I was just joking, guys. You know I am. I'm joking. But
No.
And now Zeke could come back. Yeah. I feel disrespected by that comment. So then we're just going back and forth.
He might not say it, but he might feel just the way you feel.
But you're saying this goes back to the very beginning. This is because of the way he's handled it. That's interesting to think
me.
about. So are we going to do this until the end?
Jerry's still a little offended that he gave so much to this kid. And again, it's because he's a really valuable football player.
Right.
But I think Jerry really has a soft spot for Zeke.
Yes.
And now it's getting to be a hard spot, because they're in a battle that seems to be escalating.
Because at the end of the day, Skip, Jerry's looking at it, you messing with my trophy, Zeke.
Yeah.
You know, we use the term, you messing with my money. Yeah. Jerry ain't worried about the money. Jerry said, you messing with my trophy.
Yeah.
I want that trophy. Jerry's 78 years of age, Skip. He wants that trophy more than he wants anything else in life.
Yeah.
He gets another one of them, he's like, hey, Lord, I had a great life. You wanted to call me home, I'm ready to go. But I just need that Lombardi.
Well, I'm just hoping this adversity will bring them even closer once they clear the air.
I don't hope that.
I know you don't.
I want that to get like 90 mil. That's what I want. Sign him.
Well, there's plenty of pie left.
Ain't no pie.
Yeah.
Did Dak tell you he don't like pie? He don't like key lime. He don't like apple. He don't like rhubarb. He want a 15-layer chocolate cake.
And you know what? He has earned it.
Yeah.
He has earned
it. 15 layers.
Because he's a top 10 quarterback.
There you go. Don't stop that.
We'll talk about that in just a minute.
A whole different quarterback to talk about, but we got to go to Baker Mayfield because, the guy loves to tell you how he feels. He took a shot at a fellow quarterback, or did he? We'll discuss what is really going on with Baker next.
No mercy.
I'm Jenny Taft. Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. But before the show moves along, here's a quick word from our friends over at the Fantasy Footballers podcast. The NFL season is back, and that means one thing. It's fantasy football time. The Fantasy Footballers podcast is the most downloaded fantasy football podcast for a reason. It has the most accurate rankings as measured by fantasy pros, so you have a leg up on your competition. Want to dominate the waiver wire in your league? Be the first to find those hidden sleepers or grab those breakout stars before everyone else? Then you should listen to the Fantasy Footballers podcast to get the most up-to-date intel to win your matchup each week. Subscribe right now to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also visit them on the web at thefantasyfootballers.com. Subscribe now and dominate your fantasy football league.
No mercy.
All right, guys, Baker Mayfield wasn't holding back in an interview with GQ. Baker said he couldn't believe that the Giants took quarterback Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick and that it, quote, blows my mind. When asked about Baker's comments, Jones said, quote, I'm not sure I would do it that way, but everyone's got a different way of doing things. Later, Baker backtracked on Instagram saying this. That is not what I said. Just so we're clear, I also said I was surprised I got drafted number 1. Then was talking about the flaws in evaluating quarterbacks, where I brought up winning being important. Reporters and media will do anything to come up with a clickbait story. Heard nothing but good things and wish nothing but the best for Daniel. So, Shannon, what is really going on?
I think sometimes Baker says things for clickbait. Skip, there are certain things I understand. You being who you are, but sometimes you get into a position where you can't say and do the things that you once could. And I'm tired of, people, oh, that's who he is. No, it's not. There comes a certain point in time in your life that you become a professional, and the things you used to say and some of the things you used to do, you can no longer do. Baker Mayfield, you're a professional. You're the number 1 overall draft pick. You're thought of as the franchise of the Cleveland Browns. You can't do this. Now, what if Daniel Jones said, man, I can't believe Cleveland Brown took a drunk? A guy that got drunk on someone else's campus and ran from the police. Now, when does the NFL start signing up drunks to be quarterbacks? You see, Baker would have been hurt, and then he'd lash back. Why are you commenting on this man? You quarterback the Cleveland Browns. Why are you worried about what the Giants did? That's Skip and I's job. That's what others are for do, who get paid to do that. You don't get paid to evaluate talent, and you don't get to have an opinion. You get the right to have an opinion, but as a quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, do you understand how you come off as? Skip, let me tell you what probably happened. He's probably sitting over there, and Daniel Jones came up there, and the reporter's sitting there. Now, you doing the interview. Okay. Man, I can't believe they took him.
That's exactly what was reported. It just came up on the screen, and he offered that up.
Piece about Daniel Jones on Sports.
Right.
It was on
and so what
television.
happened, Skip, it was like, but they didn't say, they didn't say what I said, what was in between, Skip. I woke up this morning, and I came to work, and I went to bed. I'm going to go to bed tonight at about 9 o'clock. In between, I'm going to rob 3 or 4 banks. So does that make anything? How does that lessen the blow? Because we don't know what you said in between. We know what you said about a quarterback that you can't believe that the Giants took him. You're the CEO. It's hard for me to believe that a CEO would basically come out and speak negatively about, not maybe behind closed doors. Like I said, Skip, I get with my boys and I say some things, or I go to the barbershop, we say certain things because that's barbershop talk, that's talk between boys. But as a professional, there are certain things you can't say. I can't believe Kansas City took Tony Gonzalez. Man, they ain't win no games. He wasn't catching but 20 passes. How they took that rascal in the first round?
I've heard you say that before, right?
So, Skip, come on, Skip.
Nah.
You know you can't do things like that.
You cannot. So somebody is really wrong here. Either Baker's not telling the truth, or the writer in question really messed this up. And I told you yesterday, and I'm going to just for the record say it again, I got to know Clay Skipper, the writer of this piece, when he was a student at my school, Vanderbilt. And I got to know him because he's the son of John Skipper, who at that point was running ESPN and became a close friend of mine. And the time I spent around Clay told me he is really sharp. So the quote is the quote. And as a journalist, I can tell you, you can either make up a quote, just completely make one up, or you can take it completely out of context and make it seem that you're saying one thing when you meant another.
Right.
In this case, the way the story was told, as Jenny points out, it's hard to either fabricate it or take it out of context because it was clearly just an aside.
Right.
At some point, maybe early in the interview. It's also very possible Baker wasn't sure the interview had even started yet.
Right.
maybe he thought it was sort of quote unquote off the record.
Right, okay.
But he clearly didn't say this is just between us.
Right.
Because
Fair.
I believe Clay would honor that.
Right,
You
correct.
just said, hey, don't quote me on this.
Right.
But can you believe they took Daniel Jones?
Right.
But he just looked up and off the top of his head uttered those words.
Right.
And I believe that's exactly what he said because it's hard to it's hard to fabricate that quote. I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. And the way it's presented in the context of just glancing up at the package on SportsCenter of Daniel Jones,
Right.
it rings completely true. Blows my mind, right?
Yeah.
Okay? How do you take that out of context? It is what it is. He either said it or he didn't say it, and I believe 100% he said it.
I believe-
Maybe I should say 99.9.
Well, he could also tell Clay Skipper,
Yeah.
release the audio. If we can release the Skip, all we got to do is really, because there were a lot of times when I first got into the league, Skip, guys, a lot of times, guys would just, they didn't have the recorder all the time. They would just jot down what you said. But because they were jotting down what you were saying, and then you got blowback, they're like, that's not what I said, and he didn't have any way to confirm or deny it. Now they start putting these recorders on. Put that tape on, put the audio. Let's play the audio. And we're going to see what Baker Mayfield said or didn't say. Because if you said that in the audio.
Okay, we just talked about all the hours I spent interviewing Jerry Jones, just hanging out with Jerry Jones for
Right.
the 3 books I wrote. The one thing I always appreciated and respected about Jerry, he just made it clear from the start, whatever I say, I say. It's fair game.
Right.
So there was never an off the record. Maybe there were a couple of times, I don't remember. But maybe he said, now don't quote me on this. But usually he's just unhinged.
Right.
He's unedited. He's unfiltered. He's just talking. And whether I'm writing it down or tape recording it, even if we're just walking and talking informally, to me, it's fair game.
Right.
It's on the record. And it seems like this should be fair game because it could have been in the course of the interview, or maybe he thought they were just sort of getting to know each other at the first, just small talking
Right.
about how's the weather in Cleveland. And maybe he glanced up and said, I can't believe they took Daniel Jones.
Right.
Well, to me, the interview, it starts the second Clay Skipper sits down in the restaurant booth.
Right, correct.
Okay?
And the thing, Skip, and the thing, look, you might say certain things. I might say that this guy wasn't good, but I'm not going to say it in front of a reporter. Or there were times, Skip, I'm going to be straight up with you. I would say things in the locker room. I was like, hey, and reporter, y'all know that's off the record, right?
Okay. Nobody burned you?
No.
Okay.
You
know why? Because you were too valuable
Yeah,
to them.
I'm
That's a
okay.
respect.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you enough stuff
That
on the
is
record.
correct.
You don't have to worry about anything that I say off the record. But I don't get Skip. You and I both know there comes a certain point in time in your life where you elevate, Skip. As you elevate, you can't be that same person.
No.
And to say, oh, that's Baker being Baker. Baker could be Baker when he was in high school or he was in college. But as you start to elevate, as prominence come, you want to be that same. You want to be that same man.
Okay, I agree with your big picture
Yeah.
premise, but once you say it,
Just
if
own
you're
it.
Baker, man, you got to own that.
Just own it.
Stand up to it. Yep, I said that. You could say, I regret it.
Right.
You could say, I was a little too harsh.
Yes.
You could have said, you could even say, I didn't know he was going to quote me on that, but I did say that. And I hope the kid does well, but I've had my doubts,
Right.
or however you want to say it.
Skip, we got in 2000 Super Bowl run. We were saying things about the Tennessee Titans, about Jeff Fisher, about the football team. And every quote that we said, they were playing it on the video board. And we didn't say they missed. We
mean
were
in the playoff
In the playoff game, Skip. And it wasn't,
I was there.
I said, whatever they say we said it. What y'all gonna do about it?
Okay.
Nothing.
Ultimately, that's
Nothing.
yeah.
I love Baker, guys. You know how I feel about him.
Uh-oh.
But when he says in this that reporters and media will do anything to come up with a clickbait story, you take that personal because it's just in your career as a
Right.
reporter, writer, journalist, you don't risk that. You
Right.
just don't risk that. You're
Yeah.
not going to misquote someone. You're not going to misquote Baker Mayfield
Exactly.
for that moment. It's just too risky. Your career's over.
Yeah.
So I think that
Okay.
it's hard because we all are trying to do our best job.
Right.
And you're just not going to risk
Because, Skip,
any
you've
of
seen
that.
it before. Oh, man, don't talk to him. That's the dude that wrote that bad. No, don't talk
You
to him.
know.
You don't want that.
You don't
Because
want that.
word travel
You're
quick.
done. You're done. Your career
So Baker
changes.
Mayfield wrote on Instagram yesterday, "This is not what I said." Okay, well, somebody's lying
Yes.
here, right?
It's simple as that, Skip.
Okay.
Somebody's lying. Ain't no misspeaking the truth. There's no, fabric stretching it. Somebody is lying. And the thing is about Skip, my grandma used to say all the time, boy, you don't never have to remember a lie. I mean, the truth. You always have to, because the lies, because you got to keep it. Okay, now what did I tell Skip? Now what did I tell Jenny?
Yep.
If you tell the truth is lines up every time.
Okay, and my takeaway from this yesterday was Baker did tell the truth. I mean, I agree with his premise.
Skip, a lot of analysts says, man, that was a stretch.
Yeah.
At 6, we believe you could have got the guy in the teens. Maybe when you had to pick, I think it was the 17. I believe you could have got him there. But Skip, as a quarterback, now Skip, if he's on a network and he's, Orlovsky or one of these guys that are quarterbacks now, and he wants to have that take, that's what he's getting paid to do.
Yeah.
But Skip, that's not what Baker's getting paid to do. As a current quarterback, these quarterbacks they done got out of pocket. Because these guys ain't used to talk like, especially about Skip. They were so lockstep and walking step by step, they broke the union and formed their own union, the quarterbacks club. Yeah. That's when people like, well, the running back should, maybe they should. But Skip, I can't even imagine John Elway would ever say something negative publicly about Joe, and Joe would say something negative about Dan. It might have happened, but I don't remember it, Skip. But these guys now.
Okay, what do I love about Baker? And you know how much I love, just like Jenny does Baker.
Yeah.
He is shattering the mold. You call him a rebel. He's just doing it his way.
Right.
And he always talks about, I'm going to do it my way, whether you like it or not. Okay, well, this was his way, so just stand by it.
Exactly.
Okay?
Don't do Michael Jackson at the Motown Awards in '83, moonwalk. Stand up.
And half the reason I like Baker so much is because of how he was to me as a reporter at those games. Always called on time, always gave anyone the time of day. He was so respectful to the media. So I don't think that, I think it's the issue that he kind of backtracked that's the problem. If he would have just owned it, look, we all reacted to Daniel Jones that way, but he could have said simply, I wish the best for him.
Okay, so he planted the flag at Ohio State and he owned it. He grabbed his crotch and he owned it.
Right.
He hit the TCU kid running across the back of his end zone in the pregame warm-ups right in the head, and he owned it.
Right.
And I can go on and on. That's Baker Mayfield. All those summed up to why John Dorsey took him #1 overall. I like whatever that fire is in
And
that
like
kid.
you just said, all those incidents, he owned it.
Yeah.
Owned this one.
Yeah.
All right, maybe a lesson learned as to everyone's listening when you're the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Will John Gruden and Antonio Brown be able to last? This is an interesting relationship brewing. James Harrison joins us next with his thoughts.
No mercy.
So Antonio Brown showed up to Raiders practice yesterday for the second straight day. AB reportedly was wearing a new league-approved helmet during the closed portion of practice, but did not have one during the media portion of practice. His second grievance hearing against the NFL is scheduled for Friday. Hard Knocks cameras caught John Gruden having a heart-to-heart with Brown after the team's walkthroughs this past Saturday. Take a listen.
I know you got a lot of people in your ear because you're like a corporation that's kind of gone global. Yeah. But at the end of the day, let's keep this simple. Yep. You know what I mean? Football comes first.
Absolutely.
Everything else is way behind it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Let's because you handle all that seamlessly, beautifully. Huh?
Seamlessly. I like that one.
We are now joined by FS1 NFL analyst James Harrison. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this relationship, James, between Gruden and AB, is it going to work out?
I feel like it's going to work out.
Do you?
Yeah, at least from what I've seen, you know. Of course, it's the honeymoon phase. We haven't gotten to real games, but you know, Gruden has a general, respect and understanding, I guess, for what AB was doing with the helmet, and you know his feet situation. So, you know, and AB obviously has respect for him for being there, backing him, and right now, you know, everything is pointing up. It could get to a point in the season where if the Raiders aren't doing well, he's not getting the number of catches that he may want to get. It may turn into a disagreement or situation. But I feel right now everything is roses. It looks on the up and up.
No, I don't think everything's roses because John Gruden is looking at the defeat situation. Okay, maybe we could. Okay, maybe that was something that happened, but the helmet situation, you knew about that, and come to find out, it's about aesthetics. Didn't have anything to do with the safety or anything like that. He just doesn't like the helmet because he don't want to look like Marvin the Martian. So now that's an issue. And John Gruden's like, bruh, you got $30 million over the next 2 years, and you complain about a helmet? Get a motorcycle helmet and put a face mask on it. I don't care what you get. I need you out here on the field. You see, these are two very combustible personalities. You said they're winning, they're losing. What happens if they're winning and AB ain't getting his catches? See, I believe AB will be perfectly content if he's losing and getting 10, 12 catches a game. See, that's what rubbed him the wrong way, is that Juju, even when they were winning, Juju was getting 100. Ben was feeding Juju. And the more he fed Juju, the madder he got. He like, if I'm the guy. And then when Juju got that award, you know, that's what he said on IG. He can't believe he didn't win that award. Look, I don't believe they're going to make it. I believe this the honeymoon period. I agree with you there. If you're having problems on the honeymoon, whoo, you know what?
It's not a problem with him. It's a problem with the NFL. Him and Gruden are getting along. Gruden, like he sat there, he talked to him. He's very clear and decisive. You believe
Gruden is like that?
Do I believe he will be open and communicate with him?
I say you believe Gruden, that Gruden sincerely is like, hey, B, we support you, we understand, but this helmet thing, you believe Gruden is that understanding. What coach you know has been that understanding?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, it's been situations where you wouldn't believe some things that the coaches do behind closed doors that are supportive of the players, even though they may say something totally different in the media because that's what they may have to do. I see right now is that Gruden is communicating clearly with AB on what he feels he needs to do and how it needs to be done. The communication with AB and the understanding and make sure there's no misunderstandings of what it is I expect from you and what it is I expect you to do is what's going to make this relationship work.
Remember, you just saw John Gruden pull him aside, and as nicely as John can say anything to any player, you got too many voices in your ear. The message is from John to AB, you need to listen to my voice. You need to put football first and simplify your life because you become a global corporation. And the message to me is quit listening to your agent, your family, your friends, whoever it is, even your teammates. Just listen to me because I'm the only one who matters to you now. And to your point, I am paying you $30 guaranteed million. And we have a chance to be pretty good this year if you're with us. And so that's as nice as I've ever heard John Gruden talk to a player.
Yes.
And he's on his best behavior during the honeymoon phase. But this Gruden that I'm seeing on Hard Knocks, because I covered John Gruden's last year in Oakland in 2001 the first time around. I don't even recognize this guy. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I don't think so because he has gone completely over the edge into Hard Knocks egomania, where he is playing to the camera more than any player or coach has ever played.
He's a lot rougher and tougher than he's showing right now on camera.
Well, I mean, he's showing a lot of rough and tough. He is so, I told them, my wife turned to me when Hard Knocks was over last night and said, is he always that snotty? Well, I didn't remember him that snotty, but I'm talking about sarcastic, dismissive, hypercritical on the field to the point where if I know if that man were playing for him, it just wouldn't last very long.
No.
A couple of those sarcastic Sharpe, what the hell are you thinking? You know, that kind of stuff.
Well, you got to understand, he's been looking at AB for a while. He's been very enamored with AB's skill set for a long time, and now he has it.
No, he has, and he was raving last night about 84 will lead this league in energy. That's what he loves the most about the energy he brings to the practice field. You've seen it. Yeah. You know it.
Yeah, you know what? I like, you know what? I'll be on the internet and I'll be watching people like, oh, they have pet snakes. And they're like, oh, he's so cuddly. I don't want one. It's easy to admire someone when you don't have to coach that behavior. You know it's coming. You know it's coming, Jay. You done been around it too long, Jay. You know what's coming.
Hey, anything is possible. Right now, I'm going off the aesthetics of this situation.
I'm just going off on history.
Okay, so you played for a Mike Tomlin from a distance. I like Mike Tomlin, but I didn't have to play for him. And you had some incidents there at the end that were not pretty, right? That's fair to say.
Yeah.
But he comes across as a player's coach, as a supportive coach. Is that fair to say? In general, just in your early years with him, he's pretty good to play for, right?
Yeah.
In general, okay.
Yeah.
Was he that sarcastic or dismissive or hypercritical on the field during practice? Would he get that abusive, like verbally abusive like John gets?
No.
I don't think so, because I don't think Mike Tomlin has near the ego John does. His ego is even bigger than AB's ego to me. And maybe it got fed by being the star of Monday Night Football for however many years that was.
And he got even more, well, Skip, and
the Super Bowl.
transition, we started seeing he started getting more animated. And then once he got on television, where the cameras was always on him, I mean, he even became even more animated. But, James, you can speak to this. There comes a time in a player's career where he's not that same player. But if he's a good guy, he's good in the locker room, the team will let you do something what they call steal. You steal a year.
Right.
You get an extra year or two. That guy ain't stealing nothing. When his play diminishes, whoop, gone.
Yeah, I would like the easier you are to deal with, the more you are, compatible with your teammates, the team, the coaches, the more, time that you're going to get, especially if your play is declining. You're a guy that's, loud spoken, Shannon Sharpe type of guy, you know what I'm saying? You may not get that.
Shannon Sharpe,
I was loud spoken, but I was easy to work with in the locker room. Skip,
No,
we know. Look, I'll give you an example. T.O. last year, he tore his ACL in Cincinnati, but he led the team in touchdown catches, yards, and receptions. We know T.O. should have been given an opportunity to play a few more years, but they say, nah.
Well, he did go to Seattle.
He tried it. Seattle, yeah.
He went through 2 preseason games, had a drop in the second game,
the
and then I was shocked.
But
Pete Carroll just said, gone.
And I don't think he got another try.
No, he did not. Okay, but he had a track record of having some issues at different teams, and so does that guy. Okay?
Track record at one team right now.
Yeah, just one team, but it was the team. It's a cornerstone national football.
Definitely.
It's
definitely.
conservative.
But like I said, the communication thing is key. And if John is telling him exactly what it is that he wants him to do and telling him what it is that he's going to do for him and does it,
What happened when he missed a meeting? He missed practice.
John's going to have to do what it is that he needs to do.
Why he got to do that? Why he can't be where he's supposed to be? You say you're starting over, we're going to be fresh.
Listen, if you're late, it's repercussions and consequences to that. If you allow that to keep, happening and do nothing, then you build a habit. And now this player believes that they can do that. And if they continue to do that, it's going to get to the point to where now they don't have any respect for you because you're not doing anything.
I believe that's what it is with the helmet. He believes he can come up with any excuse he can to get out of practice and do what he wants to do.
I agree with that. Yep.
That's why you nip it in the bud. That's why.
I think he understood the helmet thing. Like, even for the preseason game, he was wearing a certified helmet. I mean, I think he got it into his head at that point that, you know what, I'm probably not going to win this. Let me start getting used to it.
But think about why he wanted to do it, James. I can see if it's like, well, I feel safe. Say I look good.
If you look good, you play good, right?
Yeah.
If you look good, you feel good,
Look
you
here.
play good.
Man, I get a road bike helmet for $30 million and put a face mask on it and go out there and put that work in.
I don't think any helmets look that good.
Come on, look.
Listen, it's
Finding a reason to have a problem with something.
So my bottom line on John Gruden is Antonio Brown is exactly the player he needs right now, exactly on the football field. He is also exactly the player John does not want to coach off the field and in the locker room and all this extracurricular. It's exactly everything about Antonio off the field he despises. That's why collision course, epic clash.
I hope it goes well, Skip.
Yeah, so
because
do I.
if he had a problem with the way Ben talked to him, he ain't seen nothing yet. Or if he had a problem with the Ben talk,
listen, I don't, it's sarcastic, it's little
ask
side.
Ask Keyshawn how he talked to you. None of that, man.
He talked to you that bad?
Ask Keyshawn.
I didn't see that.
Keyshawn was quoted as saying after he got sent home, I didn't want to be talked to that way anymore.
Oh.
Okay.
Nothing.
Says something. We're going to watch this
There's a
unfold.
difference between coaching someone hard and just being
Yeah, it is.
like disrespectful
No,
and,
it is.
Yeah,
I
there you
agree.
go.
and
That is
talking
true.
to me bad. Like
Yeah.
I can take hard coaching. I can take you.
Thank you.
I got it.
Like cussing me, but don't cuss at me. Like cuss me out for it.
The tone has no respect in it. It's just dismissive. Like, who the hell are you?
I just, like I said, it's good coaching, but you can't talk to me. I ain't one of them guys.
That's how I got cut. I'm not gonna let you talk to me any kind
Dude.
of way.
Okay, we're gonna see
I
how
think
this
we have
moves.
2 non-Gruden candidates.
I don't know
right
if
here.
either of you guys.
You ain't finna talk to me. You ain't finna talk to
been a
me.
good fit.
If my mama ain't talk to me that way,
Yep.
you damn sure not about to talk to me that way.
I say Mary Porter ain't never SOB me and mofo me. You
Yeah.
think I'm gonna let you talk to me crazy?
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I get up out of here, but I'm gonna whip you before I leave.
It's fascinating the difference in coaching style, though. What works and what doesn't, and just the different dynamic between players individually. I feel like that's a whole different discussion we can have another day. James, always good to have you. Good stuff today. We're going to talk about a different guy, Dak. Is he really the 17th?
Oh, here we go again.
Here
we go
I feel like
Yes.
we've talked about
No.
that number
No.
before.
Yes.
17.
You've already been proven
Yes.
wrong.
Someone thinks
How?
so.
Both of
That's
you.
next.
Dope games.
No mercy.
Pro Football Focus released their rankings for every starting quarterback this coming season. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott ended up just 17th on the list. The rankings use data from previous years to project each quarterback's performance this season. 17th puts Dak in the Tier 3 category, which Pro Football Focus describes as, quote, volatile or conservative quarterbacks whose production will rely even more heavily on supporting cast and play calling. Shannon has been grinning the whole time I was reading that one.
I've
Shannon,
been gritting. It's in my teeth.
just waiting to talk. Did they get Dak's ranking right at 17, Shannon?
Got it absolutely
What's so
correct.
funny?
And you, why do we skip? I'm tired of this now. Insanity is doing something over and over again.
Yes, that's
and
true.
hoping for a different
Thank you.
result.
You're making
Skip,
my
baby.
case.
Okay, Skip. You didn't believe me when I told you he was average. Now, coaches and execs had him ranked 17th in the athletic poll. The top 100 players, there were 15 quarterbacks selected. None of them named Dak Prescott. And now the analytics at Pro Football Focus. Now, you told me a couple of months ago, Skip Bayless, these guys watch a lot of tape. A lot of these guys are general managers and former head coaches, and they know their stuff. They know their football.
They just had a bad day.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
One day they got it wrong.
Skip, I mean, the evaluation in 2017, he was 20. No, 20 in 2019, 2017, he was 19th. 2018, he was 20th. He was charged, Skip Bayless, with a league worst 15 sacks.
That is true. You got me on that one. I will buy that point. That will get cleaned up this year. I agree.
Skip, they're like, conservative. They say Prescott throws is like grading him is like more on the conservative side. Football Insiders, that's another analytics group. I rely heavily on those guys.
Yeah, I know you do.
They say he's the third least aggressive quarterback in all of football, ranked only behind Jeff Driscoll and C.J. Beathard. Skip, I'm going to try to be as clear as I possibly can, use all my speech pathology work that I've gone through in this English. Dak Dakota Prescott is average.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's what they say. Skip, why you get mad at me?
I got a lot.
Tell us, Skip.
I'm going to say this one more time, and you have to keep eating your words on this because you ate them all last year.
No, I didn't.
But it just didn't ever sink in and hit home to you what was happening right before your very eyes. Dak Prescott has become the most underrated, underrespected, underappreciated quarterback in all of football, and it's not even close. Because can I just quickly run down this list of quarterbacks ranked above Dak Prescott? Russell Wilson is all the way up at number 6. I respect Russell Wilson, but Dak played him in a playoff game last year and outplayed him and made the plays of the game down the stretch and out QBR'd Russell Wilson 74-70. I'm just giving you we're going one game on all these quarterbacks. No. Matt Ryan. Will I take Dak in the clutch over Matt Ryan any day as a leader of a football team? Any day, because I don't trust Matt Ryan in the clutch, and I don't trust him as the face of my franchise, the leader of my football team. And what did Dak do at Atlanta last year when you picked the Falcons and said this will be a rout? Dak Prescott took over the game late and drove his team 51 yards in 6 plays for the walk-off field goal. And what did he do? He converts an early 3rd and 5 from his 25 by throwing 10 yards to Michael Gallup. I told you Gallup's going to emerge as his deep threat this year. Just watch and weep, because then he hits Zeke for 11, then he hits Cole Beasley for 19, walk-off field goal. Then we go to, oh, your man. What do you call it? Limp it to him, Wentz? Carson Wentz. Oh, yeah, walk it to him. I forget about that. Carson Wentz. I'll take Dak as a leader of my football team every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and any other day of the week over a Carson Wentz whose leadership has been harshly questioned in Philadelphia.
That's all you got?
Right?
Like you tell me that's all you got?
No, that's all I got. He beat Carson Wentz, my quarterback, did twice last year. And in the 2 fourth quarters of those games and the one overtime, my quarterback was a combined 24 of 28 for a grand total of 331 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And over a 3-year period, because they've both been in the league for 3 years, my quarterback has an average QBR of 69 to your quarterback 64. Outplayed. Let's go to Jared Goff, shall we? Number 13 on this list.
You're 0-2 against him.
Yeah, but guess
You're
what?
0-2 against him.
Here are the 2 QBRs in those 2 games. One at Dallas, Dak had an 81 QBR to Jared Goff's 46. At L.A. in the playoff game here at the Coliseum, 84 for Dak and QBR to 57 for Jared Goff. He dramatically outplayed Jared Goff both times. Let's go to Kirk Cousins, shall we? He's ranked 14.
That's what's in
Kirk
your call.
Cousins.
Oh,
My
Kirk
quarterback beat Kirk Cousins all 4 times. These are arch rivals. Dallas versus Washington. My quarterback went 4-0 against Kirk Cousins and outplayed him every single time.
That's what hurts so much. That's the one that hurts so much because they got first Cousins in front of him. That hurts, Skip. Ooh, I hurt for you.
Do I have to keep going?
Yeah.
Look, my quarterback has won 32 games over the last 3 years as the starting quarterback. And the only one who's won more is that guy up in Foxborough. My quarterback in the last 3 years has led the NFL in game-winning drives. It's hard to do, but he's done that. And my quarterback set a completion percentage record for quarterbacks in their first 3 years. It's hard to do, but he can't throw. Yeah. And by the way, my quarterback now, the guy who can't throw, is 9 for 9 in the preseason with the contract.
Oh, really?
Thing. He's 9 for 9. Did you see the throw to Michael Gallup the other night?
Oh,
really? It was a back shoulder fade. And look at this. He can't throw. He can't throw a lick. It's right on the money. Back shoulder fade. 31 yards to Mike. You're going to see that a whole lot this year.
Skip.
So what happened once he finally got a number 1 receiver? When Amari joined last 8 games, what happened last year? 3rd in completions in the whole NFL, 4th in yardage passing in the whole NFL, and 5th in air distance, how far he completed his passes. What are you talking about?
First of all, you're making their case.
I'm
because
making my case.
When they say he's so dependent. Jenny, can you really, the stats that they went into, they ranked it how? They went back several years, right?
Yeah, a couple
Not
years.
one game. Skip
Years.
Bayless, I'm tired of you doing that. You always try to do that. You try to go one game. Are you trying to tell me that Dak Prescott...
2 games, 4 games, 2 games.
I'm just asking you a simple question. Are you saying Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson?
Yes, I'll take him. I'll just take him.
Skip.
I'll just take him.
Skip,
I'll take him as a playmaker and a leader. I will.
Russell
Wilson
just take him. Has gone to 2 Super Bowls.
I've seen him. I know what he does. I'll take my quarterback, and I love Russell Wilson. But I told you, I'll take him over Carson Wentz any day. I'll take him right now over Matt Ryan. I'll take him over Jared Goff. I'll definitely take him over Kirk Cousins. Look.
There's no way of getting Skip. I wish there's something I could tell you to make you feel better. But there's no way around it.
I feel great.
He's average.
I don't feel bad.
Well, Skip, let me ask you a question. How many different people must tell you the same thing before you get it through your head? That's what it is.
Here was the quote from Baker Mayfield in the ill-fated GQ story that we just talked about in the previous segment. Baker said he was talking about drafting quarterbacks. Either you have a history of winning and being that guy for your team, or you don't.
Yeah.
My quarterback has a history, a 3-year history of winning and being that guy for my team, yet you won't give in to it because you know you're wrong. You know. No, again, 8 games with Amari Cooper, he was 5th in air distance completed. 5th.
I'm not giving no quarterback that has 12 games in which he's thrown for less than 200 yards or more. Skip, way to do that. Skip, in the passing league, he's throwing for that fewer yards.
all he does is make all the big throws in the fourth quarter. How do you lead the NFL in game-winning drives? Yeah, they're playing close games, and then he pulls it out.
I can't give you Skip. If I lead L.A. County in putting out fires, but I also lead L.A. County in starting fires, what have I done? He's the reason that it must come from behind. It's because he's put the ball in harm's way.
Well, he did get sacked 15 times, and that will get cleaned up. I told you that.
When they're going to clean it up? It's too dirty to clean it up.
How if you can't throw, says Shannon Sharpe. The Hall of Famer says he can't throw. And in 2 fourth quarters and an overtime against your arch rival in the division, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, featuring Carson Wentz, how do you throw for 331 yards just in 2 fourth quarters and an overtime? It's impossible, but he did it. And he brought him back both times. Game-winning drives in both games.
How many yards did he throw for against Tennessee? How many yards did he throw for against Tennessee?
It was a terrible game.
So that was a terrible game. Well, okay, he had a good game.
Amari Cooper had just joined them and walked into the stadium and said, I guess I got to play this game.
Skip.
And it was terrible. And then what happened? They took off. What was Dak Prescott with Amari from that game forward? 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, but he can't throw. He can't throw. You're blind and you cannot see.
I'm telling you, Skip, what they're saying is that he's probably the most dependent of all of the surroundings.
No, that's just false. He's the playmaker. He out-playmaked Russell Wilson, who made the run against Seattle. Do you remember the run to get to the one? It changed the whole game.
Can you imagine if Russell Wilson had that offensive line with Zeke? Can you imagine what Matt Ryan with that offensive line with Zeke? Can you imagine what these quarterbacks, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Baker Mayfield, Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, with that offensive line and Zeke Elliott?
The last 2 years, that offensive line has been beat up and half of what they were.
Now they beat up.
Were they not?
No, they're not.
Did they have Travis Frederick last year?
Oh, so what guy? They had Tyron Smith.
How about 2 years? How about in 2017? Did they have Tyron Smith? No, they didn't have him.
And his back hurt again.
Yeah, okay. Well, so you predicting they're going to be terrible? Yeah, you've already bet your life on it.
Yeah, I've already told you what's going to happen.
How many times do you have to be wrong before you finally say, I give up, I give in? How many times?
Zeke in Cabo. As a matter of fact, Labor Day, I might go down there and join Zeke in Cabo. Are we working Labor Day?
I think we're working. I think you can't go to Cabo.
See, the problem with Pro Football Focus is they can't factor in leadership.
Yeah, they can.
This is the driving force of this football team. That's why Jerry Jones is saying, I don't know, 30, 35 million, I can do that.
And they said all these
He'll be worth every penny of it.
Not only are these better quarterbacks, they're better leaders, too.
Oh, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, like this list.
Yeah.
Skip, 17 of 32.
Yep.
Well, that middle of the road.
Yep.
What do you middle
When
of the
it comes to production, leadership, game-winning plays, he is a top 10 quarterback, and he will be worth every penny. And I don't know if Zeke will be worth every penny that he gets. I don't know.
Can you imagine if Dak played behind the Russell Wilson line? Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. All he would do is win more games.
All right, guys. Here's the thing, though. Baker Mayfield was 10 on this list. Number 1, though, at being the most outspoken quarterback. Was he out of line with everything he said most recently? Good for us. Michael Rapaport is here, and we know he's got plenty to say. That's next.
No mercy. No mercy.
Once again, Baker Mayfield wasn't holding back in an interview with GQ. Baker said he couldn't believe that the Giants took quarterback Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick and that it, quote, blows my mind. When asked about Baker's comments, Jones said, I'm not sure I would do it that way, but everyone's got a different way of doing things. We are now joined by Michael Rapaport. Michael, it is good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So your reaction to this, to what Baker said about Jones?
Everybody has their way of doing things. Yeah, let me tell you something, Baker. Backtracking Baker, because then he backtracked.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a nickname, so we got a backtracking Baker. Don't speak about my quarterback. Don't speak about my backup quarterback. Okay, you haven't won anything significant in the NFL. You won 6 games last year versus teams. The great Colin Cowherd, he broke it down in detail. I saw it. It was gorgeous. He's done nothing. Okay, these guys think they think that being relevant on social media, they think that being talked about all the time equals football wins. You're talking about a rookie quarterback that hasn't taken a snap. Do you have no bro code? Do you have no QB code? Where's your class? Listen, all that'll fly in Cleveland. Okay, and I know you taught yourself how to Millie rock. I was the white guy that could dance. That don't equal football wins.
No.
Okay, you're crotch grabbing, you're doing all this. I like my quarterbacks to be workmanlike. You look at the last 10 quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Russell, Peyton, Nick Foles, Flacco, Eli. Boring. I don't know what this guy thinks is going to happen. If I was Baker Mayfield, I would worry about Odell being Odell, because that's going to backfire on him. You want to love Odell and let Odell be Odell? Talk to me in week 4. And also, I would worry about trying to get a good meal in Cleveland without catching salmonella poison like I caught when we were out there for the finals. Okay?
Did you really?
Yeah, that happened to me out in Cleveland. Okay, when we were out there, what happened?
What was it, like sushi? Or?
Yeah, it was I shouldn't have had sushi in Cleveland. Okay? I caught a little salmonella poisoning. So this guy, I don't know what he thinks he's done, and I don't know what they think they could do. I could tell you one thing right now. The Cleveland Browns, they're not winning the Super Bowl. I think they think because they have all this talent and they have all the cool kids and they all have fancy haircuts and they all get Supreme exclusive backpacks and it's Supreme exclusive sweatshirts. That means they're going to win. That doesn't mean you're going to win football games. Yeah. So you got to keep our quarterback out of your mouth. I don't know why these guys in Cleveland are so obsessed with the New York Giants. We're talking about a storied franchise. We have rings and things. You have 0 rings and things. And I'll tell you something, LeBron James ain't coming in the door to play tight end for them, okay? So just because LeBron James took the monkey off the Cavaliers' back, you're still the Cleveland Browns. You left in the darkness of night to go to, where did they go, to Baltimore? In the middle of the night. Okay, we don't forget these things. So don't disrespect Arsenio Hall, Don King, and the great Bobby Womack. These are Cleveland staples. You're not a Cleveland staple. I don't like it.
One other question is, what he said, was it not true? Did it not ring of truth about Daniel Jones?
I was on this show, okay, when Daniel Jones, the only person from Duke that we weren't thinking about as New Yorkers, got picked. I was on this show. I was questioning it. Okay, but we'll deal with our things in-house. and I just don't understand, in all seriousness, I don't understand how a quarterback who's a walk-on, who considers himself an underdog and carries himself as an underdog, would disrespect another quarterback. Yep. And you know all these guys, they all go to these quarterback camps in high school. It has to be something personal about that. Worry about yourself. You've done nothing. Why, like seriously, like bro code, quarterback code. Why are you talking about another quarterback? Like you don't hear that from the greats like Aaron Rodgers. You don't hear that from the greats like Tom Brady. They're not talking. They would never do that. And it's just, to me, it's just, why would you do that? Don't worry about him. Worry about yourself. Worry about your mustache. Worry about learning some new dances. Worry about being the class clown. He likes to be the class clown. He likes that attention. Class clowns don't win Super Bowls. I like rings and things.
Go ahead, Skip.
No, you can go.
No, I'll let you go.
Because we're all in agreement here. Ginny, too. Jump on him.
Hey, I'm 50-50. You go, Skip.
Jenny and I are big Baker Mayfield fans, but I think I can speak for Jenny when I say we had some problems with especially the backtrack, because what he said to me rang true. What he said, I believe, came out of his mouth. But
Yes,
what
he did.
he said, I assume he thought was off the record, or that the interview hadn't quite started yet, because it was written in the story that he just glanced up at a TV monitor and on SportsCenter saw, oh, they're doing a Daniel Jones thing, and he just blurts out the immortal, I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones, blows my mind. Do I believe he said that? I went to 99.9%. I believe he said that.
It wasn't just made up.
No, because it's hard to make up that kind
Right.
of quote. And why would you fabricate
Right.
that? And I know the writer just because I knew him when he was in college. I'm Clay Skipper, went to my school, Vanderbilt, and he is a sharp young man. And I just don't believe he's going to make that quote up. I do believe that Baker got caught, and then he took a lot of flack from, maybe it went all the way to his owner. Maybe his owner made a little phone call and said, we just can't. You're our franchise quarterback. That's
Or at
a
least
bad
John
look.
Dorsey, because John Dorsey's
Maybe
a football
John Dorsey.
guy.
He's a football guy.
Yeah.
That is true. But as Shannon said, at some point you have to learn there are certain things you just cannot say. And it came across as so harshly disrespectful to a kid who doesn't deserve that. He's taken enough abuse from the New York media.
Right.
We pounded on him ourselves.
Yeah, you can criticize your own, but don't let Baker criticize
Another
him, right?
quarterback.
Yeah, another quarterback from a distance that came completely out of the blue, and yet then he's talking about how you draft quarterbacks, and I agree with his premise. Either you have a history of winning and being that guy for your team, or you don't. Daniel Jones did not have that history of being that guy.
Right.
I watched 2 Duke games last year, and I don't even remember Daniel Jones playing. And if you'd asked me after the game, will he get drafted? I don't know, maybe in the 7th round, but not with the 6th overall pick. I fell off my chair when that happened, and I think you did too.
Came here and fell off my chair.
Yeah.
Right?
Hurt my back.
My
doing
thing
it.
is, but by Baker saying that, what does he get out of this, Skip? What does he get?
I don't think he was trying to get anything. I think he just blurted.
Yeah.
He was just being a guy talking to a guy.
But did he actually think people? I mean, and there are some that are like, oh, that's Baker being Baker, and he's right, blah blah. But as a quarterback of a franchise, to talk so harshly about a current quarterback, whether he's starting or it doesn't matter. Like I said, there's some conversation that Mike and we have off camera that we're never gonna have on camera, and that's okay. You live with that. But for a quarterback, Skip, now you know quarterbacks, these guys very seldom say anything anyway. They're normally just boring, just plain black.
What I love about Baker
exactly.
Mayfield.
Yes.
But for him, I can't believe. Why you care? You quarterback the Cleveland Browns. Why do you care? That should be like, man, I'm glad they took him, so at least when we play the Giants, we got some wins. That should be your mindset. Okay. You don't have to say that. I just, at some point in time, this Baker being Baker, when does he grow up? When does he be a professional? You want your face of your franchise. What face of a company you want behaving like this? I just want to know the face of your company you want to behave like that, Skip.
Okay, but there's a part of Baker I don't want to grow up. The part who's pointing at Hugh Jackson on the sideline, like that's for you. You know, after he left, obviously he got fired in Cleveland, went to Cincinnati, right?
Man.
Okay.
Hey, let me tell you, I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, and I was harsh on Hugh Jackson. Yo, you just don't. He did. How do you have no history with this team? Like, you're pointing at another coach. It's a long and winding road, this NFL journey, and it's short at this journey. So he's pointing at another coach. He didn't do anything to him. This guy, listen, everybody has their bumps and bruises. Cam Newton took them all the way to the Super Bowl. They haven't been back. Everybody, and it's a short window. I don't know what these guys think in their head. They need to start speaking to the OGs. They need to start speaking to the veterans, the James Harrisons, and pulling their coat and talking to them to get some clarity. Because
but they don't want. They want guys that tell them what they want to hear, and a lot of times
supreme exclusives. That's not
they tell them what they
wins.
want to hear. But this is. He didn't need to do this. I don't see the benefit of it. And like you said, Skip, maybe he got caught up in the moment. He looked up there and maybe he didn't think the guy. But if you're giving an interview, you gotta assume that everything that you say, and especially a current quarterback, say something so harshly.
If Baker has a beef with somebody, I'm good with it. He had a beef with Hugh because I told you, Hugh should have started him from game 1. So that started the beef. He had a beef with the Kansas Jayhawks that day. Were you at that game?
I wasn't.
No, you weren't at you weren't at the game.
Not at that one.
But remember, they wouldn't shake he extended his hand after the coin toss, and they wouldn't shake his hand. So he ends up grabbing his crotch after they're just wiping him out, like, take that.
Right.
Okay, I get where that's coming from. He had a beef with Cliff Kingsbury because Cliff turned on him, and so if they play, I don't even know if they play Arizona, but just watch what happens because he's going to have it in for Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, now the New York Giants fans have a beef with him. And
they
don't
do,
back up,
but
don't backpedal.
But there was no beef that I know of with Daniel Jones.
No, well, he started
it that way.
I heard. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I heard that maybe at a quarterback camp, handsome Daniel Jones might have swooped in and taken one of his girlfriends. I don't know if that's true in high school. I'm not confirming or denying that. I heard that it could have been something back then. But this is all petty. I'm just saying, all the beer chugging and all the Millie rocking, that's cute in Cleveland, okay? Anything is cute.
I will give you that he has got a lot more to prove.
The standards are low in Cleveland. Okay, the fact that they were
right
6
now
and 7,
they're real high.
They were one.
No, the expectations are high.
That's what I'm saying.
The standard ain't high.
No, 1-32. When they were 0-16, they had a parade. They had a celebration out there. Listen, this is Cleveland. Don't talk about the New York Giants and the New York Giants quarterbacks. Okay? Worry about getting a good meal out there.
Jeez. I don't know if anyone in Cleveland watching is going to appreciate that. Mike, you did say Cleveland has all the cool kids, including Odell
They do.
Beckham.
He's
So
the coolest kid.
he said something interesting about your team, about the
Yeah.
Giants shipping him off to
you
Cleveland.
love
Was he
Odell.
right about what he said? Discuss.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't think the Giants were doing him any favors when they traded him to the Browns in March. OBJ said that the trade was personal and that the Giants sent him to Cleveland to, quote, die. Odell also claimed the Giants had better offers on the table, but still decided to send him to Cleveland. The Browns gave up Jabril Peppers, a first and a third-round pick for OBJ. Michael Rapaport is still with us. So, Michael, I want to know your reaction to Odell's comments here.
It's never personal. It's only business. Okay? It's only business. Did you or did you not get paid? You got paid. Okay? Odell, I came on this show many times and defended you. In front of you, online, social media. Yo, move on with your life. Okay? You played 16 of the last 32 games. You had 9 touchdowns. That's average. Okay? We all know the potential. I asked last year, let that Ferrari go out.
Yep.
Let him go out there and run. Begged, pleaded. Listen, you're gone. I don't understand why these Cleveland guys are worried about New York. Okay? Again, Odell, all the talent in the world, the catch, all that stuff, the hair, the fancy clothes, the GQ magazine, the Paris fashion shoots. This does not equate to being a great football player. The confusion, just because you got other actors and LeBron James having you on your show and you hang, this does not equate to winning football games. Now, we didn't send you out there to die. We sent you with your best friend, Jarvis Landry. We sent you with a young quarterback who thinks he could say whatever he wants about anybody. You should be happy. Now, you guys all got cool haircuts. You guys all got Supreme exclusives, okay?
You want some Supreme?
No, I don't want any of it. But they think because they rock all that. I'm just saying, like, none of this matters. Like, I'm swaggy. I mean, look at me. This is custom. I'm swaggy.
No, it's not. That's
no,
off the
this is
rack.
custom. This custom. Okay, I'm saying
Only you would wear it. That's
this custom right here. But I get being fly. I get being dope. I get being cool and all that. But you have to be able to separate church and state. Being fly, being dope, being cool, and being a great football player, being a winning football player. They're two separate things, especially with these wide receivers. Again, call Chad Ochocinco. Call Terrell Owens. These guys were at the top of their game. They were on top of the world. And then it ends quickly, especially for football players. And I don't wish that on any football player. I want them to play for as long as they can. But, like, we sent you out there to die. You did this to yourself. And Baker Mayfield said, we're going to love Odell and let Odell be Odell. Well, Odell's going to be Odell at some point, and we're going to see if you still love him. He's going to get into a fight with a piece of equipment. He's going to punch a wall. Jarvis is going to be getting touches. Nick Chubb might get something. Kareem Hunt, there's going to be a lot to pass around, and we're going to see who's what and what's when. You're in your 6th year. It didn't work out in New York. We loved you while we had you. Why are you still talking about us? You come in the spring, and you could come in the winter, too, because you guys aren't going that far in the playoffs, the Cleveland. But if you make the playoffs, if you even make the playoffs, you could come right back to New York, because you know you miss us. Greatest city in the world.
Your last line is the truest line. He really misses New York.
That's what this is about, Skip.
Yep.
Skip Odell out of his mind. The first thing a team thinks about, especially if they believe the player is really good, is that I want to get him out of the division. I want to get him out of the conference, and then what's the best compensation package? Skip, they got a player, a first, and a third. So they send him to die with $41 million of their dollars in his pocket. I sure wish Fox would send me out to die and give me $41 million. I would really appreciate that. I want to go wherever you send me with $41 million.
Even to Cleveland.
In Cleveland. Send me to anywhere, Timbuktu, Cameroon, I don't care. $41 million, I think I'll survive just fine. Skip, let it, bruh. You made it personal with your behavior.
He did.
Did you realize they gave you everything? Everybody was saying, don't get Odell that money. I said, man, pay Odell. I mean, he been balling. You know, I think he goes and right on cue, boop, he reverted back to being Odell.
He did.
You got their money. You made it personal. It was business when you took their $41 million. But when you started acting up and they shipped you to Cleveland, then it became personal. You could have easily said, nah, I'm going to play this thing out. I don't want y'all money. I just want to move on. Y'all did. But no, you take their money and you want to act a fool. And that's the thing, Skip. I'm telling you, I don't care how talented you are. If you give a team enough problems, they worth billions. They eat $21 million like I eat $21.
Yep,
That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do.
Fact.
And so, Odell, you in Cleveland. Enjoy Cleveland.
Enjoy it.
Make the best of that situation. Get them into the playoffs. Win a playoff game, something that you couldn't do in New York, which is win a playoff game. But why does he keep talking about the Giants? They've moved on. He should move on.
But Odell Beckham Jr. continues to try to create excuses to justify and rationalize why such a great organization as your Giants organization just cut him loose and shipped him out.
Yeah.
And he's having a hard time living with, they say, and what did he refer to Cleveland earlier? He calls it out there. It's out there.
Like he
you
didn't know where
sent
it
me
was.
out there. And the truth is, how he got sent to a pretty hot situation. Seriously.
Quarterback.
Best friend, ex-teammate.
Yeah, come on. I mean, he loves the quarterback. He loves to hang out with the quarterback.
Exactly.
Throws the ball hard. You got to get used to it.
Okay. So it's a happy situation out there. And yet, in his heart of hearts, he wants to be in the Big Apple.
Of course he does.
I was on stage. I was the star. I was the focal point of the back pages every day for 5 years. And he left you with what legacy? One playoff game for which he prepared in South Beach to go to Lambeau Field.
I
right?
don't understand it.
And you lost.
We lost.
And Skip, look, and if you take the Anthony Davis situation, do you think if the Pelicans could have got a better offer, because they would have preferred to ship him to the East. If somebody in the East could have given them the package that the Lakers got him, guess where Anthony Davis would have been? In the East. If you're going to give me this kind of package, okay. But you didn't. So I got an opportunity to send you out of the conference, out of the division, and get a first-round pick, and get the third-round pick, and get a starting safety, which we need because we let our safety go in free agency. Why would I not do that deal, Skip?
And the cherry on top is that it's Cleveland. We're always going to laugh. It's always going to be like, ha ha, and it's Cleveland.
Because here's
no
the thing.
disrespect to Cleveland.
Ideally, Odell would have been preferred. If he'd have behaved, he could have stayed in New York.
Yep.
But he really wanted to come to L.A., Skip. If I can't be in New York, L.A. is the next best thing. Okay, Rams, what y'all got?
Remember in the Lil Wayne interview with Josina Anderson, that's all I taught. I want to go to L.A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon, you got to explain to these guys. You have to explain it in layman's terms. You have to break it down in layman's terms. What they're not understanding. Listen, whether it's Michael Jordan in the NFL, whether it's the great Tom Brady in the Michael Jordan in the NBA, Tom Brady in the game will go on. We thought the NBA was going to end when Michael Jordan left.
True.
It didn't. Tom Brady at some point is going to be finished. We're going to continue.
And they're going to still play football.
And we're going to watch it. We're going to love it. And there's going to be the next Odell and the next Tom Brady. I don't understand what they're not understanding. Those social media is making these guys go nuts. It's really getting you a misconstrued thing.
Yep.
It's making these kids go crazy.
He was even making excuses to Sports Illustrated about the plays called last year because we ran so many predictable slants to me. And our third down calls, they always came to me on third down. Well,
That's the plan.
They probably going to go to Julio. They're probably going to go to Amari, DeAndre Hopkins,
Probably
Mike Evans.
And then when they don't go to him on third down this year.
What's happening? And when they didn't go to him on third down, what's he doing? He kicking the net. He yelling and screaming, throwing his helmet on the ground when they don't give him the ball.
They're not going to give it to him every play this year.
They gave him the ball on third down, but everybody knew they were going to give it to him. When he doesn't get the ball, I just want to win. I just want to make plays. I can help my team win. So which is it?
Which is it, man? Which is it?
Can't wait to see how the dynamic of Baker and Odell plays out.
So maybe you think Baker deserves Odell, right?
Listen,
They deserve each other.
Have a ball.
Yeah.
Have a great time. I mean, your quarterback. You don't need. Listen, business relationships are good. You don't. Your quarterback doesn't have to be the coolest guy in the world. Just hit that spot and hit me with the ball. We don't need to hang out. I don't need my quarterback drinking beers, dancing.
Biting
this
into the
guy,
cake.
all that. Oh, you're cool.
Stone cold. He's a stone cold.
Cool. We're great. Fantastic. We're going to see. These in Cleveland, the expectations are so low.
Yeah.
And their success is so low that all that stuff is good, well and good. You can't change granite. The culture in Cleveland is granite. You ain't changing the culture until you win those rings and things.
And we have a different story. Michael, thank you so much
Way
for
to go.
joining us. But I want to let everyone know that you're on tour doing some stand-up the rest of the year. You can see them at the Improv in Brea, California, September 6th. Tickets info are at michaelrapaportcomedy.com. I have seen you in stand-up, and it's incredible. So I might have to try to get tickets for myself.
I wish Shannon would show up. I would tune him up.
I'll take you guys if you want. We could plan
I'll
a
get a
little
bike,
road
too.
trip to see Mike. Thanks again. We got to talk about Tom Brady. He is the GOAT, right? We have that conversation.
I
here.
think so.
Phillip Rivers, not so sold, we'll tell you.
Eli to go.
No mercy.
Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers is not completely sold on Tom Brady being the GOAT. During an interview, Rivers said he doesn't look at Super Bowl wins when determining a player's greatness. He used Super Bowl 49 as an example. If the Seahawks would have run the ball on the goal line instead of throwing an interception in the end zone, Rivers argues Brady would have had the exact same stat line. But they threw the ball, got picked off, Brady got another ring. We all remember that one. Shannon, does Rivers have a point?
To a certain extent, Skip, I don't believe, I do think Super Bowl wins carry too much weight because Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer. Do we think they're better quarterbacks than Dan Marino, honestly? I don't think we do.
They have one.
But I'm saying,
Okay.
But I look into regular season. Did you win in the regular season? Did you lead the league in touchdown passes? Did you lead the league in completion percentage? I think when you get to Tom Brady, Skip, I think his resume is so impressive, even if you say he only has 3 Super Bowl wins. But you look at he's won almost 78% of his regular season games. He's a 3-time league MVP. He's led the league in touchdown passes, I think, 3 or 4 times, in passing yards 3 or 4 times. His resume is so complete, it's hard to find a way to knock him. So although I do not believe that the Super Bowl should be the it's end all be all, that's it. But I think as a body of work, because wouldn't we check this out. Jim Kelly got Scott Norwood in field goal distance. He missed it. Tom Brady got Adam Vinatieri in field goal distance twice. He made it. Tom did his part. Jim did his part. One guy, kicker, did his part. The other guy didn't. As we've said before, you've covered this game too long, and I've played it a long time. It's the ultimate team game because sometimes it's just quarterback can play great, and you need your defense to make a play, or you need your field goal kicker to finish it off, and it doesn't get done. He has a point to a certain extent, but with Tom Brady's resume, with 14 Pro Bowlers, with 14 Pro Bowl seasons, with 3 MVPs, Skip, we did pick it, Tom.
Thank you.
And I can't.
Which is why I can't believe you're giving Phillip Rivers even an ounce of credibility with anything that he said. That he has some point. He has no point.
Well, maybe he upset because Brady beat the brakes off him all the time.
Like 3 times in the playoffs, and Brady's 5-0 all time against him. 3 times he ended his season.
Yeah.
Once in San Diego, you recall.
Yeah.
And
they got upset. Yeah. That's when they were 14-2.
They were.
And Marty ended up getting fired after him.
Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady did him in again in the AFC Championship game in Foxborough.
He was hurt.
And then last year, I'm going to use your phrase, he beat the brakes off the Chargers in Foxborough.
He did.
So all Tom Brady has done is win 6 rings with 6 game-winning fourth-quarter drives. That's pretty hard to do, and that's pretty great. And by the way, he had another late drive that should have won the first Eli Super Bowl, and he made one little bit off-target throw that could have won a second Super Bowl against Eli. So we could go on, and he threw for a record 505 yards, playoff record in the loss to Nick Foles, who hung 40 on Belichick's defense without Malcolm Butler. You can't argue with this, and Phillip Rivers had the audacity to say, it's like the old Michael Jordan debate, like it has no end to it. No, there's only one man on earth who thinks Michael Jordan isn't the GOAT, and I'm sitting across from him.
There are a lot of people
No, there's only one. It's you.
No.
Everybody knows that GOAT Michael is the GOAT.
James.
And it's over. And it's over with Tom Brady because even look at the Seattle Super Bowl. Did he not deserve to win it? Again, Tom can't play defense.
Right.
And again, Malcolm Butler made arguably the greatest play in the history of.
Skip, I think that's one of the points that Phillip is trying to make. That so many other things, although the quarterback gets the credit, a lot of the time, so many other things go into it. Malcolm Butler making that play, Adam Vinatieri making that those two.
Just for the record. In the Seattle Super Bowl, New England trailed 24-14 to start the fourth quarter.
Yes.
What did Tom Brady do? He goes 13 of 15 for 124 yards just in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and brought them back into the lead.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he did have the game-winning drive on which he had 65 yards passing just on the game-winning touchdown drive. Okay? Well, that's just greatness, right?
Yeah, but Skip, I'm not, look, like I said, I just think what Phillip was trying to get to is that we put all this weight in like, okay, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowls. But with Tom, because he has, even if you just take the Super Bowls out of it, Skip, his resume with 14 Pro Bowls, with 3 MVPs, and leading, and his win percentage, that in and of itself should get him in the conversation. Now, when you start saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls in 9 appearances, it's kind of hard, especially with Phillip.
Dan Marino was the greatest thrower of the football I ever saw, but he got to 1 Super Bowl, faced Joe Montana, and got blown out.
Right.
And did not play well.
I mean, if Aaron Rodgers had landed in Green Bay, they might have 10.
You can't bring
They
up
might
that
have
guy.
10, Skip.
Guys, we are moving
Aaron
on. 10?
Stop.
Okay. Larry Bird, covered in tattoos. Let's just say he's not happy about it.
not
We'll
at
explain what we're talking about next.
No mercy.
All right, time for our final topic of the day. A mural of Larry Bird with added tattoos on his face and arms has left Larry Legend feeling unsettled. Bird's attorney said Larry doesn't have a problem with tattoos, but doesn't want to be seen as a tattoo guy. So Bird and the mural artist have come to an agreement to remove all the tattoos with the exception of the one on his forearm that says Indiana. Shannon, can you understand why Larry's a bit upset?
I can. I really do, Skip. And like you said, he hadn't have anything against tattoos, but when I think of Larry Bird, I think of him now. You know, he'd fight you, Skip. He wasn't. His appearance was clean cut, but that's not what he was. And I get that he's like, I don't want to be up there and have that be the portrayal of Larry Bird. That's not who I am. And so I'm glad they were able to come to some sort of resolution.
By the way, Larry Bird was your favorite player.
He was. He was. Yes.
And Shannon Sharpe has no tattoos.
None.
Correct?
None. Zero.
I have no tattoos on this side. I'm not going to ask Jenny for her.
I do have a tattoo.
Yeah, Jenny.
Hood
Jenny.
Who knew? It's new for me, but
here's
it's
the
not
point.
that big.
The street artist, the graffiti artist who did this is named Jules Muck, and she is world-renowned. She's based out here in Venice, California.
Right.
So she thought she was doing she actually enhanced his physique hugely. From
He wasn't built like
he didn't
that.
look like that. But she is obviously very proud of her work. And the quotes that I've read from her versus the agent quotes of Larry Bird's, I think she's not going to back all the way off on this because she has the right, in her view, he's a public figure and she can just sort of portray him however she wants to, but it's in Indianapolis. So the Indy crowd's going to be on his side, not on her side, right?
Larry might go down there with a bucket of paint and paint over it.
He just might. So they're still negotiating back and forth on how many she's going to take off.
And I guess, like you said, Skip, that's her thing. Is that when she does paintings of public figures, she put tattoos on them.
And by the way, one of her trademarks is bunnies mating, and I think Larry would really not love the bunnies mating.
I think that's the one that got him. I think he was good with the 76 and the spider on the shoulder, Skip. Indiana, you know. I mean, the neck tattoo was a bit much. The face tattoo. Did she think he was wheezy?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. But the agent was quoted as saying that Larry has developed a brand that is marketable and he needs to protect that brand. And I never thought I would hear Larry Bird and brand in the same sentence.
Yeah.
But it has come to this for Larry Bird.
That's his brand, cornflakes. There ain't no sugar, ain't nothing. It's just plain and simple. You know, cornflakes come in a big, giant white box with a roost on it. It's as simple as it can get, Skip Bayless. That's his brand, and he doesn't want it tarnished with tattoos. And I get it. That's that man's image, and he says, look, I get it, and I think it's a great honor that you thought enough of me to do this, but I think the tattoos were a bit much.
I think they're all going to have to come off except maybe the one Indiana tattoo. That'll work.
Safer. Wouldn't this have been figured out beforehand, though?
He got
I don't know.
a
I can't believe I'm the only one with a tattoo around here. I feel kind of cool.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.